Hello everyone, welcome. It has, it has been a little while since I have done a Facebook Live and I thought it was time. I have lots to say as always, so I figured I would hop on. And if you are, I know we have a lot of new parents that have been coming into this group. So if you are brand new and you do not know who I am, welcome. I'm Brianna and I help teen girls get out of the prison of anxiety, depression, self-loathing so that they can move into their power and their confidence. And yeah, I wanted to talk about, here's the topic that really I don't feel like a lot of us want to talk about, right? Which is self-harm, because when we think about it, we can't even imagine that, that girls are doing this to themselves. And it is actually a really, really big issue. And I want to talk about it and I want to have like an open and honest conversation about this because I think it's important. And I know a lot of girls are struggling with this, with self-harm. And I think one of the biggest things with self-harm is there is a lot of shame, guilt, and blame that is tied into this. So it's not, look, I have lots of calls with parents and the daughters are on these calls as well. And, if the conversation does go towards self-harm, I know a lot of those girls are not always honest when I ask them the question, especially like if mom and dad are on the phone and we're talking about self-harm, because it's hard to admit. And a lot of girls don't want you to know that they are self-harming, that they are cutting themselves, right? Again, because there's so much shame, there's so much blame, there's so much guilt, there's so much of this. And so they don't want to share, right? They don't want to talk about it. They'd rather pretend that it's not happening when it really is. And I want to talk about something. So it was so crazy because I was planning on coming on this week and doing a Facebook Live on this topic. And yesterday I had a client reach out to me. She texted me and I knew something was wrong. And so I said, I'll call you right now. And so I spoke to her and we had a long conversation. And what had happened is that she had self-harmed, and this just happened yesterday. And so one of the things that she said is that, the emotions became too much for her, right? She got this overwhelming sense of like, not just one emotion, but it was like she felt so much anxiety and depression and overwhelm, and it was just all coming at her at once. And while she had tried to move through it by doing something that she had learned from me, she said that once it almost like suddenly just became too much for her. And she said in that moment, I knew I lost it. I knew that my emotions were just going to take over. Okay. And so what I explained to her is that by you thinking that your emotions are going to take over, that was the turning point for you where you lost control. Right. And so what I want to share with all of you is the thing that is getting in the way. So these girls that are cutting themselves, these girls that are self-harming, right? What's going on here? What is going on here? Okay, hold on, I need some water. My mouth is dry. Okay, so for girls that are self-harming, there is a pattern that is running the show of their lives. And this pattern is to, when they feel some emotional pain, right? They feel some pain, they feel some hurt. Their go-to is, I have to run from this. I have to run from it. I have to avoid it. I have to distract myself from feeling this way. I have to numb the pain, but I can't feel it. Because what girls think to themselves is that this feeling, this emotion is too big for me. And so I don't want to address this. I don't want to feel this, right? And so what do girls tend to do when they're feeling this way? So they go to an addiction. They go to distracting themselves. They go to, it might be the phone. They reach for the phone, right? They go on social media. They reach for, I'm going to call a friend. They go to, right? What are some other things that they go to? They might go to, suicidal thoughts in their head. They go to self-harm, the urge to cut. This is very real, and it's very prevalent with a lot of girls, right? Because they don't think that they are a space that can hold all of this pain. They don't think that they are a space that can just be with their suffering, right? And so this is what needs to change here, because girls are panicking, and they are running, and they are avoiding what is coming up inside of them, right? Because they think the pain is bigger than them. And what I just got off of a group coaching session just a little while ago, and we were talking about what happens when you feel all of these emotions and all of this pain. What do? Do you run to an addiction because it's too big to feel? And then their ego is telling them that, oh my God, they can't feel this. It's too much. It's too big. It's too overwhelming. And that's where they get, that's where they try to run, or they avoid, or they shove it down because it's just too much to feel. And what I offer for the girls that I work with is can you just accept what you are feeling? And I know this sounds weird at the beginning. They're like, accept what I'm feeling? Yeah, don't run from it. Accept it? Yeah, and can you love it? Can you be a space to hold it and to love whatever it is that you're feeling? To love it? Really? And I know it sounds crazy. It sounds like counterintuitive than like what we're used to doing. But what these girls are used to doing is no longer working for them. And so we need to change this old pattern that is no longer serving them, right? When your daughter is feeling pain, when your daughter is feeling hurt, when your daughter is feeling some big emotions, can she be with it, right? Not run, not avoid, not deny, not shove it down. Can she be a space that can hold it? And this is the one thing that will change your daughter's life. When she can allow herself to feel whatever it is that she is feeling and know that she is a space that can hold it. She can hold these emotions. She can hold the anxiety. She can hold the depression. She can hold the overwhelm, right? What I was explaining to the girls that I was working with, it's kind of like if you think of the ocean, right? It's like you have a wave that's like coming through, right? Or you have a wave, but the wave comes out to sea, and then it goes back, right? And then you get another wave, and it like comes in here, and then it goes back, right? And it's kind of like, this is how our emotions and our feelings go, right? All of our feelings are just passing, right? And we just need to allow it to pass through. But most girls don't know how to do this. They don't know how to allow their feelings to pass through. They know how to stop it. They know how to try to stop it. They know how to avoid it. They know how to deny it. They know how to shove it down, but they don't know how to allow it to just pass through. And when they get in there and they try to stop it without allowing them to feel what they're feeling, that's when they get into trouble. That's when the urge comes on for a lot of these girls to cut, to hurt themselves. This can even go a step further into suicidal thoughts, which a lot of girls that I work with, a lot of girls that I speak with are having these suicidal thoughts, right? So what do we need to look at here? Things need to change because the old ways of doing this are no longer working. And so what we need to understand is that your daughter needs to get that she can be with the emotional pain, right? She can have it. She can be a space to hold it. It's not going to kill her. But here's the thing. Most girls think that it is going to kill them. The pain, the hurt, the wounds, the trauma. They're like, oh my God, it's like boiling up to the surface. And then they have a freak out. And they're like, oh my God, I need to do something. I need to run. I need to escape. I need to stop this, right? And so many girls are falling into this trap of, I'm going to go hurt myself now. I'm going to go inflict pain on myself because this is the only way that I know how to release the pain. And I am telling you, everyone who is watching this, that there is a much healthier way than going about healing this pain, right? Well, they're not healing the pain when they're going to self-harm. There's no healing in that, right? They're going into, what's the quick thing that I can do to release this? So I don't have to feel this for one more second because it's too painful. So we have to teach these girls how to have a different relationship with their pain. They have no clue how to deal with this suffering that is boiling up to the surface. And girls everywhere are lost and they feel alone and they do not know what to do. And we got to change this. But we got to change we have to change how we are looking at this unprocessed pain, this unprocessed emotions that these girls are feeling, right? The medication is not like just a quick fix for everyone. The therapy oftentimes is not helping them. And so what then, right? What do we do then for these girls? Do you have to go into your kitchen and lock up all of the knives? Yeah, that's the quick thing that you have to do, obviously, but we know that that is not a long-term solution here. Short-term, yes, you may have to lock up all of the sharp objects, all of the knives in your kitchen, because God forbid your daughter is going to have a freak out one night and she's going to go do something, right? But that is like something that's not a long-term solution. And so when we talk about a long-term solution and what your daughter really needs, your daughter needs more than anything how to understand how to process her feelings, how to feel what she is feeling. How can she feel what she's feeling, right? Most adults have a hard time doing this as well. A lot of adults go to addictions as well, just like these girls are doing, right? The drugs, the alcohol, the addictions. It could be shopping. It could be social media, right? Teen girls aren't the only ones that are struggling with this as well, right? And so what can we do to change this? What can we do so these girls, your daughter, is not suffering? And she doesn't reach for the first thing that she knows how to do, which is cut herself, which is self-harm, right? That's not a solution. You know that. She knows that, but she doesn't know anything better to do. And so what these girls are afraid of is they are afraid of their emotions. They are scared to go into their body. Your daughter most likely is afraid to go into her body, right? And that's where she has to go. It's almost like these girls have to welcome whatever it is that they are feeling. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds a little nuts. Like we're going to welcome depression. We're going to welcome anxiety. We're going to welcome fear. We're going to welcome overwhelm. We're going to welcome stress. Yeah, we're going to welcome it. Because what they've been doing doesn't work, which is hating it, which is trying to stop it, which is trying to avoid it or numb it or do anything in their power to make it go away. And what I tell my girls that I'm working with how to do is, can you just be with it? Can you be with it? Can you be with yourself? Can you go back into your body and feel whatever your body needs to feel? without trying to run away from it. And what I had the girls do, we went through this, this healing work today. And what they, when we were done with it, I was like asking the girls, well, how do you feel? And a lot of them said, wow, I just feel like so relieved, so calm. Like they could breathe again, right? Because the other way doesn't work. Hating themselves, right? Hating themselves and being scared of what they're feeling and then going and running to the addictions. These girls have become addicted to stopping the pain. And life does not want that for your daughter. Life is not here to be like, hey, just stop all of that pain. We're just time out to the pain. You're not meant to feel it. That is not what life is trying to do for your daughter. Life is trying to get your daughter to wake up. Wake up. And can you feel what is coming up for you? Whether it's trauma, can you allow yourself to feel that and know that it's not going to break you? Can you allow yourself to feel that hurt and know that no, it's not going to break you? Can you allow yourself to feel that pain and know it's not going to break you? And girls don't know how to do this because they think all of it is going to break them. And so they try to stop it. So I'm going to stop the pain. I'm going to stop this hurt. I can't feel it anymore. Girls don't know how to, so when your daughter is going through her life, and life gets hard. It gets hard for all of us, including you parents as well, right? And so what happens is that these girls don't know what to do when the challenges come up in their lives. They don't know what to do when the problems come up, the challenges, the obstacles. And so what do? They try to run from it. They try to, they don't know how to feel it. It's too much. It's too heavy. So they don't know how to process through what they're feeling. So they go to the addiction of escape. I'm going to escape this. Or I'm going to hurt myself. And God forbid, a lot of girls go into, I just want to end it. Right? They say, I want to kill myself. It would be better if I wasn't here. And so we need to look at this because this needs to change. We can't have all of these girls growing up in a way where life gets hard and they go to, I want to kill myself. I hate myself. I am worthless. I give up. I want to die. This has got to change. And we got to look at what we are doing to help these girls heal because they're not healing. They are not healing. They are just stuffing down more pain and more hurt and more trauma. And it lives inside of their body. And what we need to do is we need to look at a different approach that's actually going to work and help these girls. So they don't have to live with all of that hurt and all of that pain and all of that suffering while they continue to hate themselves. I can't tell you the number of girls that I work with that when they come to me, they hate themselves. They hate themselves. And we have to look at that. We're looking at the anxiety, we're looking at the depression, but what is underneath all of that is this self-loathing, this self-hatred, this unworthiness, this I am not enough, I don't matter. We've got to go in there. That's where these girls need to go. Oftentimes we're looking at the symptoms. Anxiety, symptom. Depression, symptom. Self-harm, symptom. Suicidal thoughts, symptom. These are all symptoms. I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up here, but I get worked up when I talk about this stuff. Okay? These are all symptoms. These are not the root issues. The root issue is what is going on underneath all of that. Does your daughter hate herself? Because that's part of the root issue. Is there trauma under there that needs to be healed? That is a root issue. We've got to go underneath that and heal from there. The problem with trauma is that most girls are walking around with all of this trauma and don't even realize it. And they're being triggered left and right. Adults as well. This is not just for teen girls. Everyone's being triggered, right? We've shoved down our trauma for so long, and then it comes up to the surface, and then we get triggered. And then we act out in ways that are not ourselves because we have unprocessed trauma that we have not healed yet. Adults, teen girls, teen boys, you name it. We've all got this trauma that we've just stuffed down because it's too hard to feel. Not only is it too hard to feel, but we don't want to go there, right? And another thing too, it's like, look, sometimes we think of trauma, it's like you might be sitting here and saying to yourself, my daughter hasn't gone through trauma. She's fine. Okay, trauma isn't always what we think it is. Trauma is not just the big abuse. It's not just, the horrible things that can happen, right? But it can be the little things that made us feel unworthy. It could be the little things that made us feel like we were not enough. That's traumatic. And we hold on to that. And that becomes our unresolved trauma. Our unprocessed trauma that we just shove down. And so it may not be like what we think trauma is, right? It doesn't matter. It's how our body it's how we process it at the time, and then it gets stored in here. Trauma's in the body. Trauma lives in the body, in the cells of the body. And so this is why so many girls that have been through trauma, yes, they're suffering from PTSD. They're suffering from all of these things that are, the trauma is in there, but then what's coming up to the surface? Anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicidal thoughts. Have we addressed the trauma? Have we healed from it? Because let me tell you, just talking about it in a therapist's office for years doesn't actually always do the healing work that's necessary. We've got to bring in, we're talking about mind, body, soul here. Not to get all woo-woo on you guys, but yeah, let's keep it real, right? We've got to bring in the mind, the body, and the soul. And there are other, Western medicine tends to look at one or the other, but they're not bringing in the full picture. So they're not bringing in like a holistic approach like I do, right? If you put your daughter on medication, right, that's working with the mind, right? What about the body? But the trauma is stored in the body, so like what happens then, right? And so also in therapy, talk therapy doesn't incorporate the mind, body, soul aspect of all of this. And so I see so many girls that come to me that have been doing therapy for years and they're struggling. They're suicidal. They're self-harming. They're still dealing with the anxiety and depression, right? And this is where it gets tricky too, because the longer that if your daughter has been struggling for a while now, the longer that it goes on with her not getting any better, then you run into like slippery territory where she's going to start wondering, well, is anything going to be able to help me? Not only that, but then she could get into the mindset of just refusing help altogether because she really just doesn't believe that anything can help her anymore. If she's been trying and struggling for so long. It pains me when I get on a call with parents and a daughter and she clearly needs the help and the parents want this so badly for her. And the girl says, no, I don't want this. And I know what's going on. I know that she's been struggling for so long that she's wondering is there anything that can actually work for me? Anything that will help me? And so that's scary when it gets to that point where they refuse help altogether, right? You don't want to get in a position where your daughter is just like, nope, nothing will help me. I'm done. Don't bring anything to me because I'm going to say no to it all. Right? There are a lot of girls that are in that space as well. So going back, I know I'm kind of going all over the place here, but really, I mean, so going back to this, you know, the self-harm, right, which is the whole topic of this Facebook Live. If your daughter can get that all feelings are just passing through and that she can be a space that doesn't have to stop it, doesn't have to deny it, doesn't have to shove it down and just allow herself to process this, she will change her whole entire life. Her whole entire life will change from this place. But she's not going to know how to do this on her own. That's why the girls that work with me, like they need that support. This is not just like, oh, I'm just going to read it in a book and then, cool, got it. Let me go practice this. Or let me go watch a Facebook Live and I got it. Let me go practice this. The girls that I work with, they need that, like, they need that support. They need that live one-on-one interaction with me and in the group as well, right? Because I have a group coaching program. So they get it. And what's really cool is that all of the girls are doing this incredible work together. That's what makes it so powerful. It makes it so powerful. I always say that the missing ingredient for transformation is being a part of a peer group, right? So this accelerates all of their growth a lot faster because they're all doing this together. And so girls are having breakthroughs, and then the other girls are seeing that and being like, well, if all of these girls can change, then why can't I, right? And so that's really, really powerful. But so anyways, going back and just to kind of sum all of this up, this really has to be, if your daughter is self-harming, if your daughter is cutting herself, she does not know how to be with her pain and her suffering in a healthy way. And she's running and she's going to the first thing that she knows how to do because she doesn't know anything else to do, right? And so the self-harm is, listen, the self-harm, the longer it goes on, the worse it gets, okay? If your daughter is self-harming, it's serious, okay? And so, because what can happen from there is the self-harm can lead into suicidal thoughts. I see lots of girls that not only are self-harming, but have the suicidal thoughts, have even attempted suicide, right? And then at that point, it's like, what do you do, right? So you take your daughter, you might take her to like, you know, an inpatient or outpatient facility, and you're trying to do all of the things because you're like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do. I just need to keep her safe. The problem with a lot of those places is it's not teaching her any of the things that I just talked about as far as just like processing all of this. Because I have worked with a lot of girls after they've been in, you know, the inpatient or outpatient. A lot of those places is just sometimes just to keep them safe from hurting themselves. But it's like, what happens when they get out? Right? That's when the real work needs to be done. And a lot of these girls are just not getting that. And so what we need to do for these girls is they need to come back into their body and start feeling whatever it is that's going on inside of them. Right? This is it. This is where we have to go. And it only happens when they're learning. It has to be, right, we're taking the mind, we're taking the body, and we're taking the soul, and we're putting it all together. Because they need more of a holistic approach. Not just like, we're going to work on this. That doesn't fix it. It doesn't. Because all of that trauma, all of that hurt is still inside your daughter's body. It's still there. And so we've got to go a step further than just that. The healing work is actually what your daughter needs more than anything. This changes everything. Changes everything. And so, going back to the conversation that I had with my client yesterday when I was talking to her on the phone, and after, she had self-harmed and then she reached out to me and we were having this conversation. And at the end of all of this, she was like, wow, Brianna, I feel so much better. And I was like, yeah, and that's amazing. But here's the thing, it's like she had to see that her emotions don't have to get the best of her. She can actually allow whatever it is to be felt in her body. Like, she's a space that can hold it, you know? And I know this might sound a little bit out there, this might sound woo-woo, whatever it sounds like, I don't really care. But this is the healing work that I do with my girls. And this is what gives them the biggest transformation. But it all starts with really understanding what happens when a challenge arises. What happens when there are some major problems that are going on, right? A friend backstabs them, or a boyfriend or girlfriend dumps them, or, you know, something happens, they get a bad grade in school or whatever. And it's like, where does your daughter go with that? If your daughter goes to, I want to cut myself, I want to kill myself, then she doesn't have any of the tools that I'm talking about right now. And this is what she needs, because she can't go through life wanting to just continually like, I'm going to give up on myself. I'm going to give up on myself, right? That is what's underneath that is self-loathing. What is underneath that is self-hatred. What I teach my girls how to do is love themselves. Okay? That's the work. That's everything. It changes it changes the trajectory of these girls' entire lives when they show up in a way where, how can I love myself more today? And then the next day, how can I love myself more today? How can I see these patterns that are no longer serving me? Right? I teach the girls that I work with how to get out of here, which is their ego that tells them all of this shit, like I am worthless, I am disgusting, I am pathetic, I am stupid. It would be better off if I wasn't here. I should just go cut myself. This is the stuff that this is teaching them, or not teaching them. This is the stuff that this is telling them. And if they have no control over their mental health, then guess what happens? They go right wherever their mind is taking them. Anywhere it goes, they're going to go right with it. And this is what I teach the girls how to do. No. I need you to get out of here and get into here. Girls don't understand that there is another place that they can go. Not just in here, but it's like in their heart. And their heart is wise. Their heart is loving. Their heart is just compassion. And these girls don't understand how to give themselves that. They don't know how to be loving towards themselves. They don't know how to be like, it's okay, you just made a mistake. Like today in my group coaching session, we did some work around, we did a lot of stuff today, but we did some work around self-forgiveness. Do you know that, like, I would say majority of every single girl out there does not know how to do this for themselves? Like, they don't know how to drop into self-forgiveness. I forgive myself for beating myself up. I forgive myself for hating myself. You think girls know how to do that? Hell no, they don't know how to do that. They know how to hate themselves. They get A++ on that one. They know how to, create more misery in their lives by focusing on every little thing that they've done in their lives that has really messed them up. They believe that they are the reason that their lives suck. It's all them. Or it's all the things that have happened to them, right? This happened to me. This happened to me. My parents are this way. This. And then they just feel like, lost cause. Just so pathetic. Can't catch a break. It's just all over. It's just all downhill. And then what a lot of girls do, they go to the suicidal thoughts. It would be better if I wasn't here. I'm a waste of space. I should just die. This is really sad reality for a lot of these girls, but this is where they go. This is where they go in their head. And we wonder why the mental health is the way that it is. These girls have no control over what is going on in here. And the medication doesn't give them that control. The medication gives them like, okay, the doctor knows best. The doctor is going to heal me. Guess what? Your daughter needs to learn how to heal herself. This is what I teach the girls that I work with how to do. They are in full control. They can actually heal themselves. It's not the stuff that we've ever, sorry, I'm getting hot. It's not the stuff that we've ever been taught how to do from a young age. We are taught, go to the doctor. The doctor will cure you. The doctor will heal you. The doctor will give you your medication. You'll be on your way. You'll be fine. Okay, cool, great. But if your daughter has been struggling with her mental health, how has that been working out for her if you've been trying all of the Western medicine ways? Like, has it been working? If it has, great, continue doing what you're doing, fantastic. But if you've been watching this up until now, my guess is that that hasn't been working. My guess is that your daughter is still continuing to struggle. And you're looking for all of the solutions. What do we need? What's the missing piece? What are we missing here? What is going on that we can't figure this out? I'm telling you, I talk to so many parents that are, I speak with so many moms that are crying out and they're like, I can't fix this. And I feel for all of these parents, and I feel for you if you are one of those moms or dads that is also in that same boat, in that same place, where you're like, I don't know how to fix this. I will do anything to help my daughter so she doesn't have to struggle for one more minute, but I just don't know what else to do. And what I'm offering for all of you who are watching this, there is another solution, but it's not the medication route and it's not the therapy route. It is the holistic approach. It is really bringing in the mind, body, and soul and doing the deep healing work so your daughter can love herself, so your daughter can take control over her mind, so her mind is not controlling her. And so your daughter can live the life that she was truly meant to be living. Because I promise you, anxiety and depression is not where your daughter is supposed to be for the rest of her life. It's not. But it is a wake-up call for so many girls who are suffering, for so many girls who are struggling. It's a message. And when we try to just like deny the message or shove it away or pretend that it's not there, we miss it. We miss why is this anxiety here? Why is this depression here? And when we're trying all of the different things and we miss that, then we miss what this is really all about. We are all on our journeys of healing. We may not always look at it this way, but we are. And so your daughter is on her own journey. And what anxiety and what depression and what self-loathing and what self-harm and what suicidal thoughts can be for her, it's time to wake up. It's time to recognize and realize that this is not a way to go through your life anymore. That you do deserve to love yourself. You do deserve to feel that you are worthy and deserving and that you are enough and that you are here for a reason. And this is where girls are at. They're at this like crossroads right now. They don't know where to go. I hear so many times girls tell me like, I never knew that there was something out there like this, like what you do, like what you teach. Yeah, I've been doing this for years, right? But we tend to just go like, no, I'm gonna go Western medicine. I'm gonna go the way that I have been taught since I was a little girl, that we're gonna go to the doctor, we're gonna go to therapy, and that's it. That's what we're doing. And there is a whole nother way. But we have to be open to another way. We have to be open to something else that is possible to help, right? Because if we're closed-minded, then how can another approach even be given to your daughter? She won't ever find out about something else, right? And so what a lot of parents find themselves in, it's this, okay, let's just find another therapist. Let's just find another therapist. Let's just try another medication. We've tried 5, but let's just try another one. Let's try 6. We've got to figure this out. What if that is not what needs to be figured out? What if your daughter is actually crying out for healing right now? What if that is what she needs more than anything? And the self-harm and the suicidal thoughts and the anxiety and the depression and the overwhelm and all of this is rising to the surface because life is saying you cannot keep doing it this way anymore. Things have to change. And this is what I want to offer to all of you. If your daughter is struggling, if she is in pain, if she is not getting any better, if you've been doing this for a while and you are at your wit's end, then things can change for her and things can change very quickly. I see girls that come to me and within a matter of a few short months, they are completely different. I'm talking no anxiety, I'm talking no depression, I'm talking girls that are loving themselves. This is the work. This is the healing work that will get them that kind of outcome. And if you're not seeing that outcome from the medication, from the therapy, whatever you're doing, then open your eyes to a different approach. If you have not watched my webinar yet called Healing the New Medicine for Anxiety and Depression, I will leave that below. Check it out, watch it. If it speaks to you, schedule a call with me. This is the same exact webinar that other mothers and fathers have watched and have gotten their daughters to work with me. And their daughters are in a completely different place now. Completely different. But they had to go against what traditional methods have, told them. That this is, therapy and doctors, that's the only way. It's not the only way. But if you believe that to be the only solution for your daughter, that's the way that it will keep going. And your daughter, if she's not getting any better, then she'll just keep struggling. I don't want that for your daughter. Your daughter deserves to have the most amazing life ever. And I love what I do more than anything. I can't tell you, I've been sending my clients these text messages. I get this wave of inspiration. Maybe I'll share a few of them here, but I sent one out to all of my girls today. And the response that I got from all of the girls, they're like, yeah, I'm stepping into my power. Yeah, I love myself. And they're just they're really getting into the energy of yeah. You know what? You can create whatever it is that you want for yourself. If you want to be done with depression, you can be done with it. If you want to be done with anxiety, you can be done with it. And it's really incredible when I see these girls stepping into the truth of who they really are and not a shadow of, who they are when they're stuck with their mental health issues and all of that, right? So anyways, with that, I'm going to run right now. If you have questions, leave them below. If you want to private message me, do that. And I'll leave, the link for my webinar called Healing the New Medicine for Anxiety and Depression. And I hope you all have an amazing night. Take care. Lots of love to all of you. Bye.